So it's been a while since I made a video. I'm busy. I'm working out a lot more. I try to do about 90 minutes of. I have a exercise cycle I bought, and I try to use it for about 90 minutes a day. And on top of that, I do some weightlifting and things like that. So I'm busy and I'm tired after I'm done being busy. So I haven't been making so many videos. However, I will be making my videos on the topics of two theories of aging. I think I'm actually going to start with the triage theory, which is Dr. Bruce Ames's theory, which is the theory of that regards to the amount of micronutrients we take in and how micronutrients are basically rationed as needed to keep certain tissues from starving. And how we don't generate healthy tissue if we're lacking certain micronutrients, if they're not optimal. See, and the problem is that what's adequate to prevent any obvious disease, and what's adequate or what's optimal to prevent the reduction, the slowdown of the aging process and the slowdown of chronic disease are two different things. And I'm going to get into that theory and the antioxidant theory. The antioxidant theory, I'm going to do that. Shouldn't take very too long. I might make both videos in the same day. But this video is going to be about Mr. Frank Tufano. I have tried very hard to go easy on Frank. Simply because I can relate to his interest in primitive cultures and in the diets of primitive cultures and things of that nature, although he does avoid trying to understand apes, primitive, basically our closest relatives, the chimpanzee and the bonobo, and even the gorilla. He doesn't seem to look too much into their diet and lifestyle for some reason, for whatever that reason may be. I don't know. But his new diet does seem to be more balanced than the previous, than the carnivore diet, but basically everything is more balanced than the carnivore diet. And this video is not going to be about diet, not necessarily about diet, not all the way about diet. It is about basically a slap fight between him and Dr. Saladino, Dr. Paul Saladino, who Frank calls Rat Boy. Now, Frank took about a month off of making videos. Why, I don't know. It seems like he's in legal trouble with this Paul Saladino guy, which probably will be dropped when he goes to court, because it seems like he's completely nuts. Maybe that's the reason he made the videos, was to make himself look crazy. Who knows? I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying that would make more sense. But apparently he's just gone full-blown crazy with the full-blown Masonic conspiracy theory and all this other nonsense. And it's funny because people probably know by now that I used to be a Thalimite. Some people pronounce it Thalimite, which is a practitioner of AleisterCrowley's form of ritual magic, which is very similar, but not the same, to the Golden Dawn system of magic, both of which, the Golden Dawn and the Thalimic system of magic, or Thalimic system of magic, are the backbone of modern ceremonial magic in the West. That's the bottom line. So if you practice ceremonial magic, even if it's Wicca, and Wicca, what's his name? Gardner, the founder of Gardnerian Wicca, which is the most popular parent form of Wicca, actually comes from a lot of Crowley's ideas that Gardner stole well, I shouldn't say stole. He was a disciple of Crowley's. So he kind of made his own version of Crowley's religion and called it Wicca. And that's why, I'm not a big fan of Wicca. I think Wicca is more or less somewhat of a joke religion. in many ways. It's not ancient, although it was an attempt to revive legitimate Anglo-Saxon culture. So it reminds me a little bit of Asatru or heathendry or whatever they want to call it. But my point is, Frank goes off the rails with this idea that Paul Saladino is involved in some kind of Masonic conspiracy that it seems to involve everybody besides Frank. Apparently everybody's in on this conspiracy besides Frank. But what's interesting is he makes a comment about Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was a 33rd degree Freemason, but he was made a Freemason because in the Book of the Lies, he put forth the secret of a 33rd degree Freemason. And they thought the only way to keep him from speaking about it, which obviously the Freemasons weren't very familiar with Crowley, was to grant him a 33rd degree ship while he was in Mexico. I forget the name of the gentleman that initiated him into Freemasonry, but he was automatically given a Masonic 33rd degree, which is far different than somebody that joins Masonry and then works their way up through the ranks. Crowley never worked his way up through the ranks, and that's the gist of that. However, the conspiracy theories related to Masonry. What's funny is they always say Freemasonry. They never call it Thelema or Telema. They never call it Ordo Templi Orientis, which was the actual name of Aleister Crowley's group was Ordo Templi Orientis, which means Order of the Templars of the Orient. They don't call it anything except Freemasonry, which is funny because these groups are not necessarily in agreement with everything. That's the thing that's funny about it. Like Thelema, although having some relation to Freemasonry, Freemasonry is not a ceremonial magical order or a ritual magical order. It uses symbolism, Hermetic symbolism, but it's not a magical order. Like a Freemason is not generally speaking, is not a magician. Rosicrucian, which is basically Christian Freemasonry, you see, this is the thing that people don't understand about Masonry. A Mason is, they must believe in God and a creator, but what that creator isn't necessarily the God of the Bible. It could be the God of the Quran, the God of Hinduism. It could be a pantheistic God. They don't really get into that. So what Rosicrucianism is a breakaway of Freemasonry that is expressly Christian. Okay, so Rosicrucianism doesn't necessarily agree with Freemasonry. Thelema, which is basically at its heart almost anti-Christian in many ways, although not anti-Christian as in against Jesus. Crowley respected Jesus and actually respected Judaism to a large extent, but he did not, and in fact, Jesus, I believe it's actually Yoshua of Nazareth is how he writes it when he's naming the saints of his religion. I believe he names Jesus as Yoshua of Nazareth, which is Jesus' actual name is Yoshua. But I don't think he calls him Jesus. He might call him Jesus of Nazareth. It's been a long, long time since I read that book, and I lost that book. I had a whole library I lost when I was homeless. So I haven't read that book in about a decade or more, so I don't remember exactly how he worded it. Nietzsche is another saint. Charles Darwin is another saint. So the difference is Crowley is not a Rosicrucian. A Rosicrucian is not a Freemason. A Freemason is not a member of the Illuminati, as they say. And that's the thing, is it's almost hilarious. It would be hilarious if it wasn't so ridiculous of how blatantly these people have absolutely no grasp of these organizations or what these organizations stand for. The one that gets me is how people think the Illuminati is some evil group When if you look at what the Illuminati actually believes, which is very similar to what Freemasonry believes, these are very good things. Good for society, good for the individuals that belong to the group, good for their families, good for everyone involved. Okay, and the other thing is the Illuminati, although there have been some revivals, it seems, some more authentic than others, was disbanded almost as quickly as it was created. The only branch of the Illuminati that still exists, that has consistently existed, is Yale. Yale has the Organization of Skull and Bones, which is technically thought of as an American revival of the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati, but still not necessarily a bad thing. It's this assumption, these people want to assume that when people get together behind closed doors, it's evil doings, but it's not. It's self-improvement. That's essentially what Masonry and Rosicrucianism and Thelema and all these things, they are self-improvement. It's how to attain, with Thelema, it is literally how to attain conscious conversation with your higher self. So it's a literal way of opening up the consciousness to be more conscientious, to be a better person, to be the best person you can be. And that would be similar with Rosicrucianism, although they use a Christian mythos. And that would also be the same with the Golden Dawn system, which is the same goal as Crowley's religion, more or less, which is to obtain conscious conversation with what they call your holy guardian angel, which is what Crowley called it also, but Crowley also called it the higher self or oversoul. I think he goes through a list of things. It can be called whatever, but it's the part of you that is still connected to the Creator. So essentially what's so ridiculous is that Tufano pushes these ridiculous views while he has obviously not one shred of understanding of what these groups are, what they're about, who they are, or anything like that. Now, and that's a danger. This is a danger to the people that belong to these organizations, as well as a danger to the general public, because people are very paranoid. Now, I also go easy on Frank because I do believe that he does suffer from mental derangement, severe mental derangement. I'm not quite sure what he would be diagnosed with, but I would almost guarantee you he would be diagnosed with something if he saw a mental health practitioner. And I think it stems from his diet. And it stems from particularly the carnivore diet, where he was probably very deficient in many nutrients and had toxic levels of other nutrients, particularly certain heavy metal nutrients. So I think that his brain does not operate on the level of a regular person's. I think that he has a degree of derangement, severe derangement, but I haven't really decided whether he gears his videos to the QAnon type crowd, which is what he does do. I mean, that's who these people are. I don't know whether he's an authentic member, an authentic believer in this weird cult, this adrenochrome thinking nonsense with the crazy people and the Pizzagate and all that. I don't know if that's where he's coming from, if he really believes that, or if he just gears his video to these people to sell more product. Okay, that's what I wonder. That's what where my curiosity lies. Is he really this deranged? Like, one of the things that was funny, he made a video that the state of New York disallowed him to get a firearm license. And I don't agree with how stringent the firearm laws are in New York City, but anybody that's watched 5 minutes of one of his videos would deny him a firearms license because he's freaking insane. I mean, and that's the thing is, like I said in past videos, I'm not necessarily against more stringent gun control because of people like Frank, okay, and because of people like the gentleman in Atlanta and the Syrian gentleman in Boulder, Colorado. It seems Frank to me seems like somebody that is a volatile, paranoid personality type that it would be quite dangerous if armed with a firearm. And by dangerous, I mean dangerous to everyday people and to himself. I mean that's the bottom line there. I mean he is clearly not mentally well by watching his videos. I mean it's not even like a little bit not mentally well. The dude's crazy. I mean that's the bottom line there. And I do think some of it does stem from harassment. Like he said, he has thought that he has been gang stalked and things like that. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that one bit. But I do think that he's not mentally healthy also. I don't think he's physically healthy either. Despite how much he claims to be physically healthy, he's never looked well in his videos. And I'm not saying I'm the picture of health by any means. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that he has never looked physically well. He's had some muscle on him. He's gone up and down with the muscle. He used to look, and now he looks again extremely emaciated with sunken eyes and things like that. I do too sometimes from not sleeping and things of that nature, and I'm sure he doesn't get the best sleep either. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think he's physically well. I don't think he's mentally well. I think that the videos are more geared toward that type of group, although I do think he probably does subscribe to some of it as he gets more and more deranged. As the months go on, he seems to get more and more deranged and more sucked into this conspiracy mindset of, I'm waiting for him to talk about little green men, to be quite honest. I'm waiting for him to start saying little green men have come from the sky. Because he is out there, man. I mean, the Wi-Fi towers being used as weapons of mass destruction the things that he was saying are like right out of, I don't know, the crazy person's guide to how to argue ineffectively. I mean, but what's so disturbing is if you look, it's the same thing with the QAnon people. If you look at the number of his subscribers and the number of likes his videos get. That's very disturbing. That is very disturbing because that means that a very good amount of people around the world think that he's giving good health advice. Number one, that's scary because it'll cause a massive health crisis. And number two, that his views on these conspiracy theories and all this crap, that this is accurate information. That's what they think. I mean, if he's getting this many likes and he's skitzing out like this and he's getting all these likes, there's something wrong with the general public. And that's all for this video.